Brother lads, welcome back to the Cossy podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is your Mikel Arteta press conference. We are here to react to the manager's big words, especially on Jorginho Timber as we take on Bournemouth tomorrow in the early kickoff. Mikel Arteta has just confirmed that Timber is 100% back, and he has also said that his quality in training has upgraded a lot of players and has actually increased the quality of the training sessions as well. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, we are facing the media, and let's see what we can give you guys in terms of the team news and some of the best bits and pieces. Right, let's start off with that big Jorginho Timber story. Mikel Arteta asked on whether Jorginho Timber will be ready to make an impact, and he said, we are not going to know until we throw him in there. We don't know the amount of impact he's going to make until we throw him in there. And he says it's tricky because it's only 3 games to go, and he's missed 8 months of football. He's played only 50 minutes of football with the under-21, so it's a question that has to be resolved only by throwing him on the pitch and seeing what happens. We have to try to nail that decision. So you can see there from the manager, Jorginho Timber is no longer close, is no longer far away. He is actually available to be thrown into the fire. And then we see how he reacts to game time. Now, personally, as you've seen in my starting lineup video, I still think that Timber could be given 10 minutes or even less than that, just for kind of a warm-up. Bournemouth are not an easy side. It's not going to be an easy game. And we know the quality Andoni Iraola has brought to this side. So I would love to see Jorginho Timber play for around 5 minutes. If Arsenal can lead this game, maybe 3-0. And then against Manchester United, he can play for 10 minutes. And maybe against Everton, we can give him 20 minutes or even a whole 45 minutes. But Mikel Arteta there confirming that the only way we are now going to know whether Jorginho Timber is ready to make an impact is by throwing him onto the pitch. There is no any other step that he has not done. Remember, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, Mikel said he's got to go through a couple of phases, which included playing a game with the under-21s and then going through some steps as well to see if he's ready. He has completed those stages and those steps, and the final step is throwing him into the flampen. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens after that. Mikel Arteta, on the lift that Jorginho Timber brings to the squad, he says it does because it increases the quality in the training sessions. You see how commanding he is, his leadership, his quality, and the rest have to lift it up as well. They start to demand more from each other, and they look at each other and say, I better be good because I want to keep playing. These are very, very positive for the squad. So Mikel Arteta there, I think when it comes to Jorginho Timber, and I could be wrong about this, all right, I think when it comes to Jorginho Timber, he's a player Mikel Arteta likes on a personal basis, a player that he appreciates on a personal basis. When he talks about him, he always talks about quality. He always talks about a player who brings something different to the team. That is very different as compared to when he talks about maybe any other player. With Jorginho Timber, you can see that he believes he's a special player. He believes that he's a special kid who can actually give him, something very different. And I believe as a person that that Arsenal left-hand side could be elevated much better that next campaign with a ball progressor like Jorginho Timber, and maybe imagine having Timber, Declan Rice, and Gabriel Martinelli on the same line on the left-hand side. Rice has already scored 6 goals and assisted 6 times this campaign. Gabriel Martinelli, 6 goals as well. So the arrival of Jorginho Timber, back in the squad could be such a big, add to our left-hand side in terms of offensiveness and in terms of scoring goals as well. Mikel Arteta on the latest team news, apart from the Jorginho Timber one, he says everybody is fit and available, so it's a headache to make the right decision, but a good headache in the end. Everybody is fit and available. I mean, we've not had this for a very long time, including Jorginho Timber now. Every single player is ready and available. And my starting 11, guys, I've already done it. It's already on the channel, and you guys have really loved it, and you've watched it. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate. But of course, we have disagreed on two players. I've included Zinchenko there. Most of you have disagreed. I've also included Jorginho in that team, and most of you have disagreed. And like I said, it is an interactive, podcast. This is a press conference, of course. I'm here to answer lots of the questions going on in the media. Of course, the next question was to Mikel Arteta playing on Saturday and playing fast, right? And Mikel says, it is what it is. We played in many different scenarios this season, and our job is clear. We have to win our game and wait. The only thing we can do is focus on that alone. Jurgen Klopp has been talking about playing early, and I think he's got a big problem when it comes to playing early. I think he's got a big problem when it comes to teams, especially playing in midweek and also playing early on Saturday. But I think for Arsenal, it's okay. We've not played any football ever since hammering Tottenham Hotspur at the, what do they call their stadium? Is it the White Hart Lane these days? Do they call it the Bottler Stadium, the Butter Stadium? I'm not too sure. But he's been talking about that, and he said it's okay. We've played very, very many games in very many different scenarios, so if it's coming for us to play fast, then it's okay. We shall actually play fast. Jurgen Klopp doesn't really like it, but of course the good thing is that Klopp is going to be leaving Liverpool very soon. Mikel Arteta on Jorginho leaving and signing a new deal. He says, I would love to keep him. He knows that. The club is fully supportive of that as well. He's really, really an important player with us, and on and off the pitch as well. And he makes us better, so I want him to stay. I mean, very open Mikel Arteta there when it comes to, Jorginho, because usually he says, if there is something to communicate, we shall communicate. The club will, communicate through its channels. But this time, he's been very open with Jorginho. I want him to stay. He knows that I want him to stay, and the club is very supportive. So listen, let's wait and see what happens. But in my opinion, I think Jorginho stays. I think that new deal is going to sign it, and the club is behind Mikel Arteta and the player as well. Okay, let's see. Mikel Arteta on scoring 16 goals from corners this season. It says it's a combination of a lot of things. We work a lot in phases of play and things that, in our opinion, can help us to be more competitive to win matches. Certainly, set pieces are something fundamental in football. This should be a message to Ange Postecoglou, mate. This should not be a message to us. Because for us, we know how important set pieces are. We know how Arsenal struggled with set pieces under Unai Emery and under Arsene Wenger especially. We really, really suffered with set pieces. We never had any proactive measures to deal with set pieces in terms of on the offensive or even on the defensive as well. But I think Mikel is right. When you look at football, it is evolving. And even some of the best teams in the world, you look at Man City and how physical they are, and how big they are. And the strategy of Pep Guardiola to make that team big and physical in terms of, physicality, it's not a mistake. It's not a mistake that he has, Ake, Gvardiol, Stones, Diaz, Akanji. It's not a mistake. It's not by mistake, right? That is to show you that every single part of the game in modern football is to be micromanaged. Whether it is the number of minutes you waste, whether it is the number of minutes you spend with the ball, whether it's the number of minutes that you spend taking corners, preparing for corners, defending them, and everything. It's micromanaged, right? And set pieces these days, there's something big. I was really disappointed when it came to Bayern Munich, because when I look at that Bayern Munich side, of course they do have huge players, they have tall players, but I'm comparing them to our set piece, prowess, and I'm like, we should have done something better than that. We should have beaten Bayern, with set pieces, but next time is always there. Honestly, next time is always there. On Declan Rice coming second in the Football Writers Awards. Mikel said he's been great. He's had such an impact from day one. It's not easy when you come from a club that you have been at for a very long time, but he settled in really, really well. It's a great group, and I think they have been really, really supportive with him as well. For me, Declan Rice is definitely a big, big contender for Player of the Season. If Arsenal win this title, there are three Arsenal Player of the Season contenders: Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice, and one of your choice. On if he will watch the Manchester City game tomorrow, it says, if I can watch them, I love watching great games and there is a lot at stake. Let's go. We have to go first and then we see if we can watch Manchester City. Obviously, I will be doing a match watch along and a match reaction, or a match reaction if Man City drop points. If they don't drop points, no match reaction. But I will be doing a watch along, a hate along on this channel. On the job Andoni Iraola has done at Bournemouth, Mikel says fantastic job to come in the Premier League and do what he's done. Huge credit to him. The coaching staff and the players, obviously, they also deserve the credit. They had a difficult start. They kept on going with what they believed in, and huge credit to them for turning things around. It's unbelievable what they have done in the manner that they have done it. As well. In my opinion, very important to congratulate them. So congratulations to them. On Reece Nelson is 97th minute winner against Bournemouth last season. Mikel says, I had a great memory because the game ended in a really, really beautiful way, and it was one of the highlights of the season. On the importance of that never say die attitude at this stage. He says, at any stage, but now obviously with what there is to win, we know that we are going to have to win games in different ways, and that can be one of them. Winning at the death. On how much these players are enjoying the running, Mikel says, yes, they're enjoying it. The energy is really good. We just had a training session, and again, it was fantastic. They are really, really at it, and they're really enthusiastic, and we are going to give it a real go. On reaching 100 Premier League wins as the youngest manager to have achieved that, Mikel says that's a contribution from a lot of people, and that is within this journey who have been really, really extremely supportive. And it's obviously it helps you to win games as well. So gratitude towards that, and it's just hopefully the beginning of something much, much bigger that can bring trophies at this football club. That is what we want. Mikel Arteta on the changes he has noticed in the group this season. He says some of them are noticeable, but some as well related to what is happening in games. It is different what is happening. Last year at Spurs as well, we had a very different game to the one we had in the previous years, or even against any other rivals. But we managed the situation quite well. It could have been better, and there is room for improvement, but I think the team is more mature at the moment. On how coachable Declan Rice is, I think when it comes to Declan Rice, he's really, really spoken huge of him. Listen to this. He has said, on how coachable Declan Rice is, he has said, yes, that's the right word. He's really, really enthusiastic, eyes open, ears open, very willing to learn and take information. On top of that as well, you need to absorb an enormous amount of responsibility and expectations and that's difficult back sometimes to carry. He's done it in a really, really composed and calm way, and that's very impressive because he's still really a very young player. He loves him, doesn't he? He loves Declan Rice, and we all do love Declan Rice because he's such a quality player. Like, when I compare Arsenal to Real Madrid, one of the players I always point out is Declan Rice. I don't know why I compare us to Real Madrid a lot of the time. I think Madrid are the epitome of European football. So Mikel says he's a coachable player, eyes open, ears open, calm, composed, and willing to learn all the time. Okay, let's see what the manager has been talking about where else. Okay, and if he needs to score more goals, Declan, he says, I think there is much more there in terms of scoring goals. We have to put it I don't know how this was written. We have to put him in more situation to explore that talent as well. He needs to recognize as well certain situations earlier in order to build that relationship and chemistry within the unit that he's playing with. Something that he is that is still quite raw, especially with the amount of changes that we made on the left hand side this season. I'll tell you something. This is genius from Mikel. The left hand side. Many people think I'm moaning about it. It has been trash. Maybe not really trash, but it has let me down. Like, it has really let me down in terms of impacting games, especially Martinelli and the lot of them. On how he would have done if on how Arsenal would have done if Partey and Timber played more games this season. He said, "Do you have a coin?" And he says, "Pink." I have no clue. We have missed them because when you have them around the team, it is more competitive. There is more quality there, more leadership there. That is for sure. On seizing the moment with 3 games to go, Mikel says absolutely. Just focus and put all your energy in finding that determination and willingness to do our best to earn the right to win games. The first one is Bournemouth. It's at home. It's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere again towards the game. Be present and be in the moment. Okay, you know, my problem with Arsenal is that we capitulate a lot in games at home. Like, I don't know. Aston Villa at home, no win. West Ham at home, no win. Fulham at home, no win. We need to do better at home, right? We need to do better at home. Like, when I think about results that should have gone in our way at home. Newcastle was away. I think Newcastle was away. Newcastle was at home. I think Newcastle was away when we lost 1-0. I think that was away. But when I think about the results that could have been much better in terms of Arsenal's, you know, title run, and those results at the Emirates Stadium, it saddens me. Because if you beat Fulham, we are 1 point clear of Man City. Like, we are not waiting for Man City to draw points. If we beat Fulham, we're not waiting for Man City to draw points. If we beat Aston Villa, we're not waiting for Manchester City to draw points. And all those games were at the Emirates Stadium, right? So I'll see you right in the next one, guys. We'll be live at exactly 10 p.m. getting my predictions, and you know, doing an analysis of that game and why I think it's gonna be nervy, really nervy. We will be nervous, but I still tip Arsenal to get the job done.